Good afternoon. This is the start of the Whithorn and Wigtown Common Good Fund Subcommittee. We are going to hold the meeting for 10 minutes to wait for additional members to come along, at which point we'll take a decision about whether we're quorate or not. Thank you.
Thanks, Melinda.
Hello and welcome to the Whithorn and Wigtown Common Good Fund Subcommittee. The first item on the agenda is the appointment of a chair, which I am going to take and then hopefully hand over to a chair if we have somebody appointed. Do we have any nominations for chair?
I'll jump in, Melinda. So I know previously we didn't appoint a chair for the perpetuity, and I'm aware Councillor McCammon isn't available for today's meeting. So what I would maybe suggest is we defer a permanent chair, but we appoint a chair just for today's meeting. I don't know if David or Chrissy would like to go forward with that, but if nobody else is, I will chair, but purely for today's meeting.
Okay.
I'm happy with that, Katie, if you're okay with that. I wanted to give Jackie the opportunity, and this is the second time she's not been able to come. So if you're okay with that now, Katie, then we'll do that today, and then we'll appoint a chair at the next meeting. Is that okay?
Just a little bit of governance advice, Wilma. Is that going to be all right for today's meeting?
Yes, as long as there's a member who is chairing the meeting today, then we are good to go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Wilma.
Perfect. Great. Katie, I'll hand over to you then to take us through the rest of the agenda. Thank you.
No problem. So I don't have any chair's notes as such, but I'll just sort of remind members of the protocol, which is to keep cameras off unless you're speaking and to stay on mute, and that the meeting will be recorded, and that as the chair for the meeting today, I'm quite happy for remote participation, which is great because we're all remote working, so that's brilliant. Said and apologies. I know Councillor McCammon has sent her apologies, but I don't think there's anybody else, is there, Wilma or Melinda?
Sorry, we've got apologies. And I'll also inform you that we've got a representative from Wigtown being Paul Tarling. But I'm just waiting on the paperwork to be completed, and he'll be invited to the next meeting.
Great. No, that's perfect, Wilma. Thank you. I know there was a concern over Wigtown, so that's great that we've got that resolved. Any declarations of interest from anybody in the committee today?
No, from me.
No. Okay, great. So item 5 is the minute, or sorry, item 4 is the minute of the previous meeting on the 30th of August. Now, I'm conscious this is for approval, and it's only yourself, David, that was at that meeting because Councillor McCammon is not with us today. So I don't know whether we just are needing to note this and it goes to approval. Do we need 2 members to propose and second, I think?
I don't think we do. I think we just need.
Okay, great. Well, David, if you're happy to approve that.
Yeah, happy to approve.
And we've also got the item 5, which is the minute of the previous meeting on the 21st of September, which I'm quite happy to propose if David or Chrissy are able to second as well.
Happy with that, Katie, yeah.
Great. Okay, moving on to item number 6, that's the Whithorn Common Good Fund, the final outturn report for 2021-22 and the financial plan by the Head of Community Services. So I'll just open it up. I guess, Melinda, if there's anything to add, I'll maybe pass back to yourself.
Don't think there's anything further to add to the papers, and just to sort of go through the recommendations.
Yeah, okay. Obviously, we've been through some of this already, I think is what I would say. So, I mean, David, Chrissy, I don't know if you've got any other comments at all. We can move to the recommendations.
I think we can move to recommendations unless Chrissy's got something. Katie, we did go over this and there was nothing in it.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're happy, great. So if we can note the final outturn report and agree the financial objectives in 2 and 3.5, sorry, excuse me. We're agreeing the financial objectives and then we're also agreeing the financial plan. So if we're happy to note and agree those 2 items.
Noted and agreed, Katie, yeah.
Great. So moving on to item number 7, that's the Wigtown Common Good Fund, which is also the final outturn report for 21-22 and the financial plan. And again, I'll maybe pass back to Melinda if there's any additional to add, and then open to members.
The only thing that I would have added to that was that the the Wigtown Community Council had a look at the reports at their meeting, and it's just really, this is just for information, and they were happy with the contents of that report. I think I'm just saying that because in view of the fact that Paul's not quite, you know, up to speed with us yet and got invited to the meeting. So just for your information.
Perfect. No, that's helpful. Thank you, Melinda. It's good to know that there is actually being sight from the local reps on the committee, even if they're not able to attend. So great. David, Chrissy, have you got any comments? David,
Yeah,
you want to come in?
You come in this one, Katie. This was the only one that I felt. We spoke a number of meetings ago about the electric charging points and any income that was coming off that going to the Common Good Fund in Wigtown, because it doesn't have an income as such other than interest. So we could do with keeping that on the agenda and just finding out where we are with that one as regards whatever income comes off I think there's 12 or 14 in the car park for future reference, that the community in Wigtown benefit from some of that if we can.
Yep, I think that's a good point, David, and one that we've raised, as I say, about a year ago now. I think what might be useful is if we can actually get an annual report from the council. I don't know if I'm assuming that we as ward members can request that information from the council, because obviously if there's an income being generated but nothing back, yet it's on common good land, and how we can resolve that. So I think to keep on the agenda, absolutely, I think that's a pertinent and good point. Okay, so with that noted, or that comment captured, if we can move on to the recommendations, and it was to agree the financial objectives of the financial plan, note the financial outturn position, and agree the financial plan for 22-23 as set out in the appendix. So are we happy to agree, note and agree those?
Yeah, happy to agree, note and agree.
Yeah, happy to agree.
Thank you. So we move on to the applications, item number 8, and there was an application for financial assistance from Whithorn Common Good Fund, and we're asked to note the free income and consider the application before us of £390 as per the recommendation in paragraph 3.10 of the report. So again, I'll maybe just pass back to Melinda if there's anything additional to ask and add even.
I don't think there is. I think everything is in the report. There's been no change since the report was written. So as far as I'm aware, it's just really for you to consider whether or not to fund the application or not.
Okay, so I'll pass over to yourself, David, Chrissy, for any comments, questions, recommendations.
Yeah, the only comment I would make there, Chair, is the cost of the full project is £520. I think it's a really worthwhile project, and I know that we are only funding part of that. I think it's 390, I think is the figure.
Yep.
And there appears to be plenty of funds there that are free and available. I'm just wondering whether we should go out with the 390 and offer the funding for the full package.
So I'm happy to hear from yourself, Chrissy. I think if I may, I'll certainly my thoughts on that one, David, and I totally appreciate why, because as you say, there is funding and it's only one, but my concern would be that if we get further applications and we've given more money than the recommendation, that might leave less funding for other organisations to come forward. So I think I wouldn't be while I totally understand, I would be minded to stick with the recommendations so that it wouldn't leave us in bother in future for that, because I think if we were to end up in a situation where we ended up being oversubscribed and we'd maybe given more funding than the recommendation, I wouldn't want to be in that position personally. But I don't know, Chrissy, if you want to come in on that one at all.
I think this is great, what the community have done with the school, and I'm happy to fund it either way, whether we give them a little bit more or whether we go with the recommendation, because I do think it's a great project that they've done.
Okay, so I'll go back to yourself, David, whether you want to put that forward as a motion to the item.
I take your point, I do take your point, Katie, and I understand. I think we assess these on the basis of what comes before us, you know, and this project, this Toon Arts project, is something around the Toon Arts that they're doing in a number of places, you know, and I think the fact that the primary school's been involved as well, I just felt it was, for all the money that we were falling short on the whole project, was this something, you know, they've got to find the other £130 or whatever it is, you know, for all it was. But I take your point, Katie, you know, I don't know if anybody wants to give us any guidance on it.
I don't know whether we've got any governance advice on it, but as the officer that wrote the report, it's certainly a precedent I would have thought to set, to start to give people more than they're asking for. They've asked for that money for a reason. They could have asked for the full amount, but they haven't. So I'm assuming that the £130 they've got, they have in their pot already, and that's what it said in their application, that they had £130 of their own funds to add to it. So they have got the full amount for the project, but it's up to members how you want to take that forward.
Well, I think we have fully funded projects that had a recommendation for less than full funding in the past. But I didn't want to cause any issues here. As you say, Melinda, they've got £130, it says, from their own funds. So let's just go on the basis of the recommendations then, Chair.
Okay, no, thank you, David. I think it's an important point to add. I think, Melinda, just for future, I appreciate that the request was for 390, and maybe just to make clear in the report that the recommendation is to give 100% of that request, because you know, if they've asked for 390 and the recommendation is 100%, I think we should go for that in the future, and maybe just make clear that the recommended amount is what percentage of their ask. So this is actually 100% of what they asked. So it's just maybe just the way it's presented. But no, that's helpful. So if there's no other comments on that one, we will, obviously we've noted the estimated income and we've considered the application, and we agree to award the 390 as per the recommendation in 2.2. So we're happy to consider and agree.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so the last item is any other business deemed urgent. As a temporary chair, I don't have any other business, and really appreciate that we've managed to get this meeting done and convened. So thank you, members, for your time, and thank you very much to the team staff for supporting us. Thank you very much, folks.
Katie, for